Well, alright, people, so I'm here with your Raw review. Don't get used to these. The only reason I'm really doing these this week and last week is because I had a few weeks off work here because of Christmas, but don't get used to these. So let's get into this show here. So we had countless 3-minute matches. We had bitches shooting fire out of their hands. We had all kinds of craziness on this show today. So let's get to this. Let's get to this review here. So we had Triple H and Randy Orton cutting off or starting off the show. Kind of a random promo. Like Triple H is just there. That they never really explained why he was there. He just showed up for no apparent reason. I mean, you could at least write in a storyline reason as to why he was there, but of course the non-creative team didn't think of that. It was an okay promo, nothing special. He calls Orton a prick. Orton says Triple H left his balls in his wife's purse. So, I mean, it was a okay back and forth, nothing special, nothing terrible. Then we learned Drew McIntyre has COVID, and it's hilarious to me that WWE is trying to lecture everybody about wearing a mask, social distancing, when the complete essence of what they've been doing for the last 9 months is not that. So, like, don't fucking tell me to follow the rules and social distance and do all this shit when you're not doing it yourself. I mean, do whatever you want to do, people, but don't be a fucking hypocrite about it, alright? And don't lecture me, Drew McIntyre, about what to do with my life when you're not following the protocols. Oh, but it's okay because WWE is special and an essential business, right? Yeah. It's like they could play college football and they could do all these things with sports and professional sports. That's okay, right? That's essential, but my dad's small business has to, abide by all these stupid regulations. So don't lecture us, Drew McIntyre. Then we have Lacey Evans defeating Charlotte here. And I have to say, I am a little intrigued about what they're doing with Ric Flair and Lacey Evans. Hey, they're actually doing something interesting and intriguing. It's unfortunate, though, because this could be a really funny thing. They could do, Ric Flair, ladies' man, 70-year-old, getting the hot looking 30-year-old. And I gotta say, Lacey Evans is a good looking bitch. She's got a nice pair of tits there. Gotta say that. Throw that out there. The match was all right, but I would say the match would have been a lot better. I would have gave this match a couple more stars if Lacey Evans' tits would have came out there, but unfortunately that did not happen. But yeah, I mean, this Ric Flair storyline is it is interesting. I enjoyed how they're kind of. I didn't think he would be here this week, so I kind of take back a little bit of my criticism from last week. I didn't think they would continue the storyline, but they are. Unfortunately, though, the PG era, the PG-ness of this, they can't really go too far with sexual shit, so it kind of hinders. They're just like, oh, they're flirting. So they can't, show like Ric Flair banging Lacey Evans. They can't do that, unfortunately, because it's the PG era, folks, and they're trying to, they're making this show for 9-year-olds. They're making the show for 9-year-olds, but it also seems like it's written by 9-year-olds as well. So I mean, the match was all right. It was I would say, a mediocre match, probably a little bit below average. I do like the storyline again, but it's just hindered by the PG era. Then we have this Jackson Riker guy. I never fucking heard of him, defeating Matt Hardy in just a 1-minute throwaway match. Terrible, boring, pointless. And then right after that, you got Hardy defeating Elias and just another terrible, boring throwaway match. They seem to do a lot of these like double matches today for some fucking reason, and all of them were like three. Like, what I mean by double matches is you have a match and then out of that match comes another match. Like, I think 3 of those happened on this episode, and they were all shit matches. They were all like 3, 4, 5 minute matches. And my thing is, instead of having a bunch of 3, 4, 5 minute matches, instead of having 6 4-minute matches, how about have 3 10-minute matches? Nobody wants to see a 3-minute match. It's just not good. Then we have Sheamus and Keith Lee defeating Miz and Morrison. It was an alright match, nothing special here. You got Miz, who's Money in the Bank, right? He's probably gonna be your next champion. And what I've seen over these last 2 weeks is nothing special. I mean, this guy should look more than just an average superstar, Miz, right? He shouldn't look like a mid-carder, because this is the guy that is probably gonna be your next world champion. But he just looks like another guy. He looks like a goof. Like, he's not doing anything special. He's not doing anything. He's just standing there doing nothing, pretty much. What are you doing to build this guy up to make him seem special? Nothing. And they wonder again. They wonder why they can't build any new stars or why nobody values their titles. I'm also confused whether Sheamus is a heel or a face. It's like, do we have heels and faces in this company anymore? Do we have kayfabe? Probably not. In this day and age. Um, but but then out of this match, well, first off, Sheamus and Keith Lee seem to be getting along great. They're like best friends or whatever and then they come back. They're high fiving each other. Then they come back from break, and now all of a sudden they're just in a brawl. Like they're fighting with each other, and they're about to have a match. And this brings me to another point. Like, who is the general manager? Who's making these matches? There's like no general manager. They're calling Adam Pearce an official, whatever the fuck that means, but there's no general manager. It's like matches are just made out of the air. It's like poof, a match. Like, there's no fucking match. Like, normally you would have your general manager come out and say, okay, we're gonna have a match now between Sheamus and Keith Lee, but there's no matches. I mean, like, who the fuck is making these matches? And I said the same thing on SmackDown. Like, who is making these matches? It's like Paul Heyman was making matches. Adam Pearce is making matches. It's like, who's in charge of this fucking show? Who's in charge of this clusterfuck? It's just random. It's like, I'm seeing people like substituted in for other people. Like, example, they were saying, well, we have Elias versus Hardy coming up here on Raw. And then all of a sudden you learn that Jack Riker or Jackson Riker is facing Hardy. Like, who authorized that change? There's no fucking general manager. So I just wanted to rant on that. I mean, it was an all right match, nothing special. Again, just a kind of a typical fucking match here. And then after the match, they're hugging again and they love each other. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? I mean, they reminded me of like two fucking ladies on their periods, like all emotional and shit. Can't control their fucking emotions. Don't know what their emotions are. Like, what is going on here? And then we get another pre-recorded message from Drew McIntyre accepting Goldberg's challenge, and it's funny because he pointed out that that Goldberg is 20 years past his prime. It's kind of funny how WWE is pointing out the stupidity of bringing back Goldberg and placing him in a championship. I don't even think they realize how stupid it is. They don't realize it, but they're pointing out their own stupidity and their own just dumbness of really fucking over us WWE fans once again and putting a guy 20 years past their prime. And once again, they pointed this out in his promo. 20 years past his prime and sticking him in a main event of a world title match. How fucking dumb is that? And how fucking dumb is this creative team to point that out on their own fucking show? And then Goldberg isn't even there, but again, you got another fucking part-timer coming back, and then next week, not even there. That's good luck. Good luck, WWE. Stupid. And then we got the Retribution is back. I remember they debuted this fucking stupid ass, goofy looking tag team like 3-4 months ago, and I made a video on them, but then I never heard anything about them. I thought they just disappeared. I thought it was another one of WWE's failed ideas again. But all of a sudden they're back. This guy has a goofy looking mask on his face. I guess he wants to be Kane. His name is T-Bar. When I heard of it, I thought it was a fucking candy bar, like T-Bar. It sounded like a fucking candy bar. He defeats some guy. I don't even remember who he defeated. But it was just another pointless, boring match. Like, what is Retribution still doing in this company? They're just wandering around again. Like, what are they doing? What's the point? Just pointless. Then you got Lashley defeating Riddle, another stupid 3-minute match. You got Riddle, this goofy looking motherfucker. I guess he wants to be the new Zack Ryder, wrestling without any shoes on. Like, what is he doing? Who the fuck wrestles without any shoes on? Are you gonna turn on the television of UFC and see some motherfucker without any shoes on? No, you're not. It's stupid. It's dumb. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, but this was just another stupid 3-minute match. And this is what I'm talking about. You get a match, and then you get another match out of the same match. Like, and then you get MVP versus Riddle. So instead of doing a 3-minute match for your fucking title, you could have not done that MVP versus Riddle match, which was pointless, and had like an actual, legitimate title match that could have been like 10 minutes long. But that's too much sense for the creative team. So you get this MVP versus Riddle match that ends in a disqualification when Bobby Lashley spears Riddle. Just a pointless match. And again, you should have used this segment and added the time on to the title match. And Riddle just looks like a goof. He doesn't look tough. He looks like an idiot. Like I don't get what they're trying to do with his character. Then we have Styles defeating Gulag, and you guessed it, another fucking 2-3 minute match. I mean, what's the fucking point of this? Like, have a good fucking match. Like, you can't have a good match that's 3 minutes long. I mean, I get you could have squash matches to build some guy up. I get having a squash match here and there, or a 2-3 minute match here and there. But to have like five or six of them on the same show is just so fucking stupid. It's like you got a 3 hour show and it's got all these stupid 3 minute matches on them. Then you get a Divas tag match. I think it was Tamina and Baszler defeating Dana Brooke and some other bitch. Again, you guessed it. 3 minute match, another boring. By 3 minute match, I just mean a short fucking match that was probably under 5 minutes. It was a few minutes long, like waste of time, throwaway match. What's the point? You want people to take these feuds seriously or take these wrestlers seriously? Don't put them in 3 minute matches every fucking week. And then we come to our main event, the segment we've all been waiting for, the Triple H Randy Orton fight. Right? It's just a fight. It's not a match. It's a fight. So I mean, it was kind of interesting, right? You know, Triple H is going to be in a fight. I mean, it was an okay brawl, like nothing out of the ordinary. Like Orton got a little cut on his cheek. I mean, at least we got a little blood, even if it was accidental. I mean, just a few punches. You know, nothing. It was an all right brawl, but like nothing special. And then we get Alexa Bliss coming out, and she fucking shoots fire into Randy Orton's face. Like, to me, that was just strange. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that, oh, that's so great, but like, it's like you're bordering on the world of the make believe. You know, it's like you're kind of reaching, you know, to make me believe that Alexa Bliss could actually shoot fire into somebody's face, because, you know, last time I checked, there wasn't one person on this earth that could shoot fire into somebody's face. Like, that's kind of a little, that's stretching a little bit too far for me. I get with wrestling, you know, you can stretch, the truth a little bit, but for me, that's just a little bit too far, okay? And I mean, some people may disagree, but that's just my opinion, and I'm giving you my true opinion. The Fiend character, it looks promising. It looks like it has potential. Knowing WWE, they probably, I've heard they fucked it up already, but who the fuck knows? But to me, the Fiend character looks like it could be entertaining. Unlike 99% of the other characters, segments, promos on this show. Because when I look at this show, when I look at the last 2 weeks of shit I saw, I just see bland. And that's what I use to describe SmackDown. Bland. Everything's bland. Nobody has a character. Nobody's character is interesting. Most people are just generic baby faces, generic heels. There's no interesting storylines. There's no creativity coming from the non-creative team. Everything sucks, pretty much. And it's like, when you look at these people, like, you know, like Orton has a kind of an interesting character. I mean, he's always had that sadistic character that's been interesting. Drew McIntyre. I'm just going through the names on my list here. Boring, bland babyface. Charlotte. Boring, bland babyface. Unfortunately, with smaller tits now, it looks like, since she got her little tit surgery taken care of, or whatever the fuck. Jackson Ryder and Elias. Perennial mid-carders. Boring. Jeff Hardy. Boring, bland babyface. You know, Sheamus, another fucking, who even knows if he's a heel or a babyface. Keith Lee, holy fuck, his character is just awful. I mean, he's got some decent moves in the ring, but his fucking character, man, he really needs to work on appearing tough, because he does not appear fucking tough, man. Like, he needs to get more of that Brock Lesnar feel. Miz and Morrison, goofballs, stupid. You know, you just go through Retribution. who the fuck knows what the fuck they're doing with them. You just go through all these people though, and they're just boring, bland characters. And you go through all these storylines. There's no depth to them. There's no intrigue to them. There's nothing that makes you want to go, oh, that's an interesting storyline. That's got some story behind it. No, it's just one person coming out saying, I'm going to kick your butt. The other person coming out saying, I'm going to kick your butt too. It's just there's no interesting thing on this show that makes me intrigued. And I didn't watch this show live. I opted to watch the national championship game because I would rather watch that, the college football championship game, than this 3-hour piece of shit show. I mean, it took me a lot to watch this show. I mean, honestly, people. And I haven't had shit to do the last 3 weeks, so I could actually afford to put myself through the torture of this. But I'm gonna work tomorrow. I go back to work tomorrow, and I'm probably not gonna watch this show. Who knows if I'm gonna watch this show next Monday? But I mean, this show sucked. It was boring. There's just no fucking storylines that make me intrigued in this. No interesting characters. I mean, you look down the fucking roster. Everybody's bland. Everybody's boring. Nobody wants to. Nobody. And you got one of the biggest pay-per-views coming up in the next 3 weeks, right? Isn't it? I think it's on January 31st, the end of January. You got a big ass pay-per-view. Probably your top. It's probably your third biggest pay-per-view, second or third biggest pay-per-view of the year. And I heard very little talk about that. Goldberg wasn't there. I heard very little talk about really anything to do with the Royal Rumble. And again, that's always been a classic problem of WWE, is not building up to your championship matches or your big matches at pay-per-views to really give them that big fight feel. So there you go, people. Let me know what you thought of Raw. Did you think it was a good show? Did you think it was a bad show? Did you think it was in between? Did you think that was a good moment when you saw fucking Alexa Bliss shoot a fake ass fireball out of her hand? And by the way, if she could do that, if she has the ability to fucking shoot fireballs out of her hand at will, why doesn't she just do that all the time and fucking kill Randy Orton? Like, Or I guess does she gotta fucking reload like a fucking video game? You gotta take a little bit of time to fucking reload her strength. I don't fucking know, but I'm just saying that shit's it's just too, it's too far past the realm of believability to me. Okay, people. So let me know what you thought of the show. But there you go, people. There's your Raw review.